So Bleach has always been one of the big three that have always escaped me. Like when I was younger, I remember watching Bleach for the first time on Adult Swim, but I never really caught it a lot during the Adult Swim era because, well, unlike a lot of kids during nowadays, I had a curfew when I was younger. But Bleach was one of those series that was on Adult Swim, while One Piece and Naruto were actually on Toonami during the weekends and things like that. And I know Bleach aired during the weekends, but let's be real. Every single weekend, I wasn't at my TV during Adult Swim because, frankly, I had a lot of cussing. Parents didn't really like that, so, I had to change the channel. But either way, now has been the perfect time to get back into Bleach because Bleach is now getting a new anime season for the 1,000-Year Blood War arc, and I recently just reached that point in the manga itself. So I thought to myself, I have all the Bleach manga box sets. I never really made a formal video just about Bleach aside from unboxing the box sets. So let me go ahead and talk about it and talk about the Soul Society arc, the Arrancar arc, and the Fullbring arc in this video. So if you guys like that type of content and you want to see more, go ahead, hit the subscribe button, post notification bell, like the video, and share the content. And you already know, go ahead, follow me on all my other social media platforms. All my links will be in the description down below. So let's go ahead and get it. And it's your boy, Chase the Dark Sage. And you guys know, I'm a big Shonen Jump stan. You get what I'm saying? I love all my Shonen Jump titles. I love all of the big three. While I don't have the most love for Bleach like a lot of people do, I still love Bleach and I still kind of hold it near and dear to me with a nostalgic bias for it. But recently, as I've grown older and I've started reading some of these series like One Piece, and well, I didn't really read Naruto because I watched that growing up. And well, I had to finish Naruto out in the video game because the anime definitely wasn't finished with Naruto compared to actually Storm 4, when Storm 4 finished out all of the Naruto story in video game format. So I never actually finished Naruto in the anime, and with One Piece, well, One Piece is actually still going, so I'm still reading that and I'm still caught up to it. So don't worry guys, I still got love for One Piece. One Piece is still the best big three, I'm not gonna cap. Bleach has definitely cemented itself third best in the big three. And if you don't know what that means, it's last. It's not second. You know when people say if you're second, you're the first one to lose? No, Bleach is the second one to lose. And it's not losing well. Needless to say, even though I rank Bleach third out of all of the big three, I think it's still a pretty good series. Now, I'm not gonna say it's the best in terms of writing because honestly, to me, Ichigo as a character doesn't go through that much character development up to where I'm at. Now, he does go through some type of character development. It's not the greatest, but he does go through some character development. And I will give Tite Kubo, I don't know how to say his name, and I know you guys are gonna correct me in the comments, but I will give him credit where this is due. Bleach has the best artwork, the best scenery, the best look and vibe when it comes to the big three. I gotta say, Kubo's artistic choices when it comes to Bleach is definitely bar none, especially in the big three. Now, in the big three, all of them have pretty good artwork, but I will say Bleach has some of the best artwork that I have seen in manga. Now, it's not, the greatest compared to Yusuke Murata, but we're not gonna knock Kubo down because he did help inspire a lot of series coming after Bleach, and I will give him credit where credit is due. Like I said, some of the villains in this series itself, I think that they're phenomenal. Now, Aizen, really great. Byakuya, when he was an antagonist, great as well. Now, other antagonists, we're gonna talk about that later, but I do like Grimmjow. Grimmjow's design is nice, and until he reaches his holification form, I didn't like that. I heard a lot of people like that. I really didn't like that. But nevertheless, let's go ahead and talk about the Soul Society arc and some of the things I liked about it and some of the things I did not like about it. And as always, we could discuss more in the comment section down below. If you have a question, I'll most likely answer it if, I'm not too busy. So let's go ahead. In the Soul Society arc, this is basically where Bleach starts. And, obviously Ichigo gets his powers. He meets characters like Rukia. We as a reader get to meet Orihime, Chad, Iryu, and we get to learn that Iryu is a Quincy, which will later play a role down the line in the story when it comes to the actual 1,000-Year Blood War arc, which I know a little bit. At the time of me recording this video, I've only read one volume. Well, yeah, one volume, but we will touch on that later. Maybe if I feel like I'm qualified to talk about that. But in the Soul Society arc, this is basically where we get to meet the main cast of Bleach, and we get to meet Ichigo, Orihime, Uryu, Chad, and Rukia, and we also get to meet some of the members of the actual Soul Society themselves, like Kenpachi, who is pretty goat, Renji, Byakuya, and Kisuke Urahara, which I think is one of my favorite characters of the series. He might actually be my second or third favorite character. I'm not really sure yet, but we'll discuss that later. And in the Soul Society arc, later on, the actual big problem with the Soul Society arc is they take Rukia and they basically have her up for execution. Byakuya is supposed to be the one that's supposed to be executing her, blah, 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 woo, woo, woo. We already know that Rukia and Byakuya are both family members, and so Ichigo, he got the strength of a Soul Reaper now, so he thinks he ought to just go up there and, do some Soul Reaping, except he doesn't really take lives. He's a Soul Reaper, but he doesn't take lives when he's in the Soul Society. Nevertheless, Ichigo does get a ragtag group of his friends, which is Orihime, Chad, and Iryu, like I said earlier, and he goes to the Soul Society. He basically breaks through. He has lots of power-ups. I mean, a lot of power-ups. Like, he powers up like crazy in this arc. And that's my one problem with this arc. This arc overall, I wouldn't say it's one of the best arcs in shonen manga. I've seen a lot of people say that when I unboxed the first manga box set for Bleach. It's definitely not one of the best Shonen Jump manga arcs, but it is a pretty good, fun one. Now, I will say when it comes to the power system and the power scaling itself, it's not really, you know, touched upon or really, you know, expounded in this arc, except for when you learn about the Bankai system. But even then, that's not really even a system. It's just a super huge power-up. Maybe every now and then a transformation kind of like thing, like potential unleashed with Dragon Ball Z. But still, when they hit this Bankai state, which I think it was very butt pullish for Ichigo to hit it within like 5 days of him training for it, which I think is crazy, but hey, he's a main character. Some butt pulls have to happen within this series. But nevertheless, I will say that some of my favorite moments within this arc has to be when Chad is fighting, with Chad's fights, because he actually is useful in this arc. Yuryu, his fights as well. Orihime, when it comes to Bleach female protagonists, I really don't like him like that. And it's not a sexist thing. Don't get me wrong. Now, I love Lady Vermilion from Black Clover. Trust me, that's plenty of woman. She's probably one of the best Shonen Jump women to ever grace a manga panel itself. But when it comes to the women in Bleach, I feel like they only serve the men for the men to get stronger or for them to heal the men or things like that. I just feel like they don't really have a strong suit, or it's just always a damsel in distress type thing. Like in the Soul Society arc, Rukia is the damsel in distress. In the Arrancar arc, Orihime is the damsel in distress. And at some point in the Fullbringer arc, everybody becomes a damsel in distress. Either way, it's somehow always a woman being in distress and needing to be saved by Ichigo. And all the other women that are there, they don't really play a role as in like, you know, let's put some hands on. No. They actually mostly help the main character in some type of way, except for Rengoku. Rengoku is mommy. We will not disrespect Rengoku. Nevertheless, Ichigo does save Rukia, and I think that this arc was pretty good. It sufficed my Bleach need. I definitely went through this arc pretty fast because everything about it was interesting, it was new, and I was fully captivated when I was reading this arc. And then we get to the Arrancar arc, which, whoo, that Arrancar arc is something different. That Arrancar arc made me want to quit manga. That and Tokyo Ghoul. It made me want to stop reading manga for a while. I actually took a break from reading manga. Those are the series that actually made me take a break from reading manga. Tokyo Ghoul and Bleach, because, whew, the Arrancar arc is very long. It's very tedious. Wait, hey. Pause on the very long part. Pause. The Arrancar arc just feels like it's just so bloated. Like, I feel like the Arrancar arc could have been cut down by so many chapters, but there's so many parts to the Arrancar arc, and I like the beginning of the Arrancar arc where Ichigo is confused, he doesn't know where he belongs, and he kind of plays that part a little bit more, which I actually do kind of like it a bit more within the Fullbring arc. But in this arc, I like the way that the Arrancar arc started, and I like the Arrancars invading Karakura Town, but when it came to the captains and the Arrancar war, I didn't really like that. I feel like this arc right here tried to interweave too many things happening while I really just wanted to see what was going down in Hueco Mundo. And I will say, the designs with the Arrancars, phenomenal. Grimmjow, phenomenal villain. El Curio Ikiora, I don't know how to say his name. You guys know what I'm talking about. I'm probably gonna put a picture of him up on the screen. But him, a lot of people love him. I really don't. You get what I'm saying? Like, I really don't like El Curio. I really wish Grimmjow was the sole villain in this arc, aside from Aizen. Don't really need to say anything about Aizen. Aizen was great in this arc. This arc made me love Aizen as a villain. And Aizen's glow up, man. Can we talk about that man's glow up? Like, that boy got the drip after he betrayed everybody in the Soul Society. But I will say, I didn't like the way that the end of this arc actually went, and I didn't like a lot of this arc for the most part. Everything with Ichigo is cool. I feel like all the side characters, like Iryu and Chad, them getting powered up to be on an even level to go with Ichigo to Hueco Mundo, I felt like it was unnecessary. I felt like literally they played barely any type of role, especially Chad. I feel like Chad is the most useless character in Ichigo's squad. And I'm sorry to say this, and this is a person of color. I wanted to root for Chad, especially during Black History Month, even though he's not black. But I still wanted to root for him because he's the only person of color in this manga. But he's a disappointment. To me, he's like Rock Lee. He showed a lot of promise, and he was just very disappointing as a character. Now, up to the Fullbringer arc, he's still disappointing. Trust me, he doesn't really do much. But I will say, this arc really made me not like Chad or like the writing that Kubo gave to Chad, because I felt like Chad was supposed to be doing something. He did something in the Soul Society arc. But in the Arrancar arc, he had like 1 or 2 fights. And can I talk about the comedy in the Arrancar arc also? Because it's very funny how Kubo left Chad out, but then he wanted to add a lot of comedy in this arc, and comedy really wasn't his style in this arc. Now, I did like some of the comedy in the Fullbring arc and the actual start of the 1,000-Year Blood War arc, but this arc wasn't it when it came to comedy. And I feel like he tried to interweave comedy a little bit too much, especially with serious characters and serious moments. I don't feel like it was a right blend of comedy, because when it comes to something like One Piece, you kind of go into it as your action comedy, obviously more action with comedy on the side. But with this series, the vibe to me when it comes to Bleach, it has a more serious tone, more darker tone than all the rest of the big 3. And then there's these certain moments within the manga where I'm like, yo, this is getting deep, this is getting dark. I really like the way that this is going. And then a few pages later, something comedic happens. And then the serious character that you grown to know is super serious kind of acts out of character with the comedy as well. I just didn't really like that, especially with characters like Renji and Iryu used as comedic forces. I didn't like that. I personally didn't like that. And then the one thing that I really hated about this arc is, like I said before, they try to introduce too many characters. They stuffed too many people down my throat. Nani? That sounded way better in my head than when I said it into the mic. I'm sorry, but they tried to stuff way too many characters down our minds, and honestly, I didn't care about anybody when they got killed. When it came to being a good guy or a bad guy, they didn't write any of these characters well beforehand during the Soul Society arc enough for me to really care about these characters in this Arrancar versus the Captain's War arc. I really didn't care about any of it. Now, they do showcase some pretty cool moves, but cool moves doesn't make you a great character overall. A lot of these characters' ambitions and motivations, I really didn't care for in this arc, and they tried to make you care for these characters, but to me it was already too late because you're in the middle of a war. Now, I know usually with Shonen Jump tropes, you usually, have the fight and then you get the backstory. Well, in this one, I really didn't care about the backstory because I feel like it disrupted the fights a bit too much, and I already felt like this arc was bloated enough. Now, like I said, I like Bleach enough to where I love the character designs, I love some of the villains. Aizen really steals the show at the end of the Arrancar arc for me. But when it came to the Arrancar arc, I just felt like it was too bloated, too much was happening, and they tried to introduce too many new things and elements for me. So I couldn't really like it like that, and that honestly slowed me down because it was just a lot of chapters. I believe the Arrancar arc is bigger than the actual Soul Society arc, or at least the retrieval of Rukia. It was way more, and it just felt so bloated, and I just got so tired. I just felt like they was trying to go around all these corners, and I really wanted to see what was happening with my boy Ichigo, because Ichigo finally gets a transformation in this arc, but he just doesn't really like the transformation. I don't know if they're going to play on the transformation anymore, but he does hit a transformation. I like the design of it. Like I said, Kubo's designs, phenomenal, fantastic. The holification thing, I think that was a pretty dope move, especially for Ichigo, one of the only Soul Reapers to have a holification type form. I like that. Obviously, he's the main character, so he's going to have some type of differences, but I like that. But like I said, the Arrancar arc really wasn't for me, and that was probably going to be the biggest part of this video. Now we got the Fullbring arc, which I recently read this week while I'm recording this video, and I recently finished it. It's about 5 to 6 volumes. Honestly, a really quick read. I really actually liked the Fullbring arc more than the Arrancar arc. The Fullbring arc, it got straight to the point. It was mostly focused on Ichigo, which I really love when it does that. And this focuses on Ichigo after the events of the Arrancar arc, where Ichigo loses his Soul Reaper powers, or they're super dormant to where he can't activate them. Something like that. But I really like this arc because it really shows Ichigo feels like he serves no place anywhere, because he can't fight all these hollows that he's used to fighting, and all his friends are out doing Soul Reaper things while he's just stuck being quote unquote normal. And this is the first time he's felt normal in a long while, especially with the Soul Society arc and after the Arrancar arc. And I really do like this position that Kubo actually put Ichigo in, and obviously I know Ichigo's gonna get his powers back in some type of way because there's like 200-300 more chapters. But I will say, when it actually comes to Ichigo like having a place, it was really good because he just seemed confused, and I was honestly confused as a reader. How would he get his power back? Where will he be serving from now on? Will he become a Soul Reaper again? I know he'll probably get his Soul Reaper powers back, but will he become a Soul Reaper again in position? When it came to the actual Fullbring arc, the actual antagonists, they were I won't say that they were bad. They served their purpose. This arc was basically the arc to be in between the 1,000-Year Blood War arc and the huge Arrancar arc. 2 huge arcs. We don't need another big arc for Ichigo just to get his powers back. I think that the Fullbring arc itself was a pretty good arc overall, especially serving the purpose of getting Ichigo his powers back and bringing up this new power called the Fullbring, which I think is a pretty dope power that's actually introduced within this arc. It's pretty simple. Every item itself has some type of soul energy into it, and you can actually pull that soul energy out and use it as a weapon. I really do like that. I wonder if they're actually going to play on that in the 1000-Year Blood War arc. So that's all my talk when it comes to Bleach and the arcs itself. You let me know what you think about these arcs down below, and do not spoil the 1000-Year Blood War arc since it has not been animated yet. I know a lot of people have not read it yet. I've heard a lot of mixed things about the 1000-Year Blood War arc, but I can't wait. I'm actually enjoying it so far, especially with the return of Nell. Now, I did not think Nell was going to come back into the series, but Nell is also mommy, just like Rengiku, so I had to see more of Nell. Now, since we talked about some of the arcs in Bleach, let me go ahead and tell you about some of the characters and what I think about some of the characters. Ichigo, overall as an MC, I don't see how a lot of people see him as the goated MC when it comes to the big three. I honestly think Luffy is still reigning high as the GOAT of the big three MCs. But honestly, Ichigo isn't a bad MC. I feel like he is the most realistic when it comes to all the MCs in the big three. And honestly, I like Ichigo. He is the realistic portrayal if all this stuff were to happen to somebody. And he's kind of optimistic. I wouldn't call him like overly optimistic like Naruto or Luffy, but he has a realistic optimism. He gets depressed. He actually feels like a real character, a real human. Like, he feels relatable, and I do like that about Kubo's writing with Ichigo. He feels the most realistic out of the big three MCs. Also gotta say that I kind of like Orihime as a love interest. I really don't like her having powers because I feel like Orihime is only there to serve as a damsel in distress, or if she is using her powers, it's to help heal somebody. I just feel like she really doesn't have a purpose when it comes to actually being in the manga, besides being Ichigo's obvious love interest and someone that Ichigo really cares about and that he kind of grew up with. We also have the character of Uryu, who is Quincy, which I think is brilliant to have a Quincy. These people that were against the Soul Reapers befriend Ichigo, and you know, they always had this rivalry happening between each other where they're always bickering back and forth, and I just love that back and forth that they usually have, and it's goofy. And that was the one time that I actually do like it being goofy, because usually Uryu is a smart aleck, and you know, Ichigo isn't the brightest bulb in the box, but you know, he has enough common sense to get when Uryu says something smart to him, so I really do like that. We also have the character of Chad, who I feel was really left in the dust after the Soul Society arc. I really feel like he played no purpose in Bleach once we got into the Fullbrink arc, and I only say that because in the Arrancar arc, Kubo makes it clear that, you know, Uryu and Chad have been training hard enough to be on the same playing field as Ichigo when they haven't. They haven't. Iryu, I can understand because he had to get his powers back because he lost onto the Soul Society arc, which I did like. I like that. But when it came to Chad, I was like, you just have a meat beat arm that's like super strong. You get what I'm saying? Like, what's the purpose of Chad right now? Now, I don't hate Chad because I like his inclusion, and he's just the stoic, quiet character that's supposed to be brawlic, but to me, he serves no purpose. I feel like if I took Chad out the story, aside from the Fullbrink arc kind of, even then, I could pull him out the Fullbrink arc too, and he really wouldn't serve a purpose in this story. I'm not gonna lie, Chad could be taken out, and the story would not change at all so far up until the Fullbrink arc, which is like chapter 400 something. So 400 chapters of you not really serving a purpose out of 600 something chapters, it's not really a good look on your character. I also like some of the supporting cast like Rukia, Renji, Byakuya, Kenpachi, GOAT. Can we call Kenpachi a GOAT? And we gotta call Kisuke Urahara a GOAT. Especially his backstory with the way that he played into the Soul Society and the fallen Soul Reapers that came from his backstory that became Hollows. Oh my gosh, Kisuke Urahara, go! Probably my first, maybe my first or second favorite character. Kenpachi and Urahara, they're both fighting, but I really didn't like Kenpachi after the Soul Society arc. I mean, he's cool, you know, he's bloodthirsty. I like that about Kenpachi. He's pull-up god. He got pull-up god status for me. Him and Grimmjow, but we're gonna be talking about villains later. But Kenpachi is definitely GOAT status when it comes to pulling up, because I just love that energy that Kenpachi be on. He's like, yo, I got this. Let me take this on myself. And I kind of like Ikaku. I mean, I like him. I like Toshiro, the ice captain. He's cool too. I mean, he's cool. That's about it for all the captains that I really remember or know by name, because all the other ones that they tried to force feed you in the Arrancar arc during the war, to me it didn't serve no purpose. Like the Fox dude, I didn't care about him in Toshin's, I guess, pupil sensei type of relationship that they had. I cared nothing about that. They tried to make you care about it. I cared nothing about it. But Tosin had a cool design. Yeah, he had a cool design. Now let me go ahead and talk about the villains of this series, and I will be telling you my ranking of Bleach afterwards. And I gotta say that Aizen obviously has to be number one up until the Arrancar arc, because that's how much I've read. And Aizen, That's a bad dude, man. He had that glow up when he betrayed the Soul Society in the Soul Society arc. Oh, Aizen's a bad dude. I'll go gay for Aizen. That's how good that man was looking after this arc. You saw the bang? You saw the bang? Hey, that boy Aizen took the glasses off. He had the power up. Oh my god, and he was drippy with it too. Oh my god, Aizen is a god. I'm just saying. We also have Grimmjow, who has a great design as well. Like Grimmjow. Oh, I just love the way that the Arrancars are built sometimes. Well, not all of them. But Grimmjow's design? Oh, I think Grimmjow's design is the best out of all the Arrancars. Just his blue hair, his attitude, his menacing look. And when he had that one arm for that one time and he was just fighting, Grimmjow's a dog. Grimmjow was a dog. Now, we also have Byakuya, who we could consider an antagonist, but he's not really a villain. I would consider him an antagonist because he was the opposing force in the Soul Society arc. And I did love his fight between him and Ichigo. I think that fight was fire. Once Ichigo trained with Yoruichi, and I also haven't talked about Yoruichi. That's mommy as well. That has always been number one mommy. She is the number one mommy on top of all the mommy in the mommy list. But ooh, when Byakuya and Ichigo fought, after Ichigo had that training, Ichigo just wanted smoke, and I was there with them. That's why that arc was so fun. I just love that they put Ichigo in the forefront of that arc, and that's why I like the Fullbring arc too, because they put him in the forefront. I just love that when mangakas do that. Give me the character that I know and love, and make the story revolve around them. I know there's a bigger world that you want to, kind of develop, but put the arc around them. I like them a lot. But yeah, I liked him as an antagonist as well. And after that, no other antagonist is really memorable. I get what they were trying to do with Ulquiorra. I don't know how to say his name. I get it. They tried to do like a Meruem thing, like from Hunter x Hunter, where he was this villain, this monster who eventually became human, and then Ichigo turned into the monster himself, but it was by accident, not really purposeful. So I don't really get where you was trying to go at with that one, Kubo, but I mean, we gonna let it slide. I really didn't care for Ulquiorra. I'm glad he's dead though, so that way I don't have to see him ever again. But Grimmjow though, I wish I would have had some more Grimmjow until he went into his holification form. I really didn't care about that. But yeah, overall, Bleach, I know I probably didn't talk about the Fullbring arc like that. That's because, well, there really wasn't much. It was just that filler arc. Not really a filler arc, but it was that arc to get Ichigo back on his feet and to get back into the Soul Reaper groove of things. But honestly, overall, I have enjoyed my read of Bleach. Now, that Arrancar arc, that was a lot. That was a lot to swallow, and I need to stop saying stuff like that. But that's the only thing that's coming up in my head when I need to say certain things. But that Arrancar arc was very hard to digest. And, man, that made me stop reading manga. That and Tokyo Ghoul, like I said, I did finish Tokyo Ghoul. But, man, that was just a lot. But once we got back into the Fullbring arc, and I just like the pacing of it. I like the pacing of the Soul Society arc too. Just the Arrancar arc's pacing was super bad, super boring. And I know I'm not the only one that felt like this, because I talked to my boy 025, and he also felt the same way. So I was like, okay, cool. I'm not tripping. But in the Fullbring arc, the Lost Agent arc, as it's supposed to be called, I like that because, it was just that little arc to get Ichigo, like I said, back up on his feet, get his powers back. And, we're back into things. We're back into Ichigo feeling like himself. So overall, and like I said, I'm reading the 1,000-Year Blood arc, and I will give you guys a review once I finish that up. But overall, when it comes to Bleach, I think that it is good. I give it a 7 out of 10. It's not the best thing I've read. Nowhere near the best thing I've read. But it's also nowhere near the worst thing I've read. I will say Ichigo was good, especially back then. I couldn't call it mid right now. But, well, if I had to compare it to everything as of right now, yes, it would kind of be mid. Only because there's so many great things out right now. Especially with stuff pulling from Bleach and making it better, in my eyes. Yeah, I would call Bleach mid as of right now. But for the time period and era that it came out in, Bleach is definitely a heavy hitter, and I can see why it is a fan favorite. And honestly, I like Bleach. I know I dog on Bleach a lot on my Twitch streams and on this channel, but honestly, I can say that I really do like Bleach. Except for the Arrancar arc. There are just so many things in that Arrancar arc are just so bad. But that final fight between Ichigo and Aizen in the Arrancar arc, it was good. That was fantastic. But like I said, I give Bleach a 7 out of 10. But let me know what you guys think about Bleach. I know this video is probably super long, but I had to do this. I've done this for Black Clover, and I kind of done this for Boruto. So I will say, let me know what you think about Bleach down in the comment section down below. I'd like to say thank you guys for watching. If you are new to the channel and you haven't already, go ahead, hit the subscribe button, post notification bell, like the video, and share the content. And if you want more Bleach content, I do have manga unboxings on this channel that you could check out. And I gotta add a Bleach figure to the shelf one day. I just don't know who I want to add. I kind of want to add Mommy, aka Yorichi, but I don't know who I want to add yet. But before I head out, you already know I gotta give a shout out to my Patreon pledgers for going ahead and financially supporting Child Guys. I highly appreciate what you guys are doing for me, financially donating on Patreon. And I gotta give a huge shout out to the YouTube members for also financially donating on the YouTube side of things as well. And you know, I gotta give a huge shout out to Broke Boy Gang for the people supporting me, watching these videos all the way through, enjoying the content, and just helping me within the YouTube algorithm and helping me grow as a creator and a person. I gotta say thank you guys for watching. Dark Sage out. Bankai. I mean peace.